Hello. This is a quick 1-month review of the Dell XPS 13. It's a follow-up video to the unboxing that I did a month ago. I'd say while this is the 1-month review, this is actually the second machine that I've got. They actually sent me a new one about a week after the first one that I got because the original one had some trackpad issues. It was a bit loose and it was rattling. So this is a new unit. This is the second one that I've gotten, and this will be a quick run through of what I found pretty good and what I've also found not so great. So from a build perspective, we'll start with that. It's been pretty solid, I'd say. It's rather heavy, I'd say, but it also feels kind of like a quality build as well. In terms of the laptop itself, the keys are very comfortable. Haven't really come across any issues as such. I'd say maybe the key consistency is not quite the same. I find the space bar, especially around this right corner, a little bit softer than perhaps the other keys. But all in all, I'd say the keys are pretty comfortable. The screen, this is currently on max brightness. I'd say it's pretty good. It's at expectations. I like how thin the bezels are. But the one thing I'll say is Dell have switched to matte screens from if you don't get the 2-in-1s. So I guess it's a bit of personal preference, but for me personally, I've always stuck with the glossy screen. So this was a bit of a surprise, which I didn't like so much. And there's no way for you to actually option out from the matte screen. Other things to point out. The speakers, that's probably one of the things that I would say is one of the biggest downsides of this laptop. It's honestly far from expectations, and I'd probably liken it to maybe phones of 5 years ago, really. That's how bad I'd say it is. And I just got a little bit of a sample video here just to play some sound and let you listen. So it's really very tinny, I'd say. There's no bass at all whatsoever. If you are definitely the kind of person who likes or appreciates good sound quality, this is probably not going to be the laptop that suits you. So that is a main call out. Initially, I thought actually this was an issue with the first laptop, but it wasn't, and this second unit is the same. So I do think that this is just a perhaps design flaw, or this is just the way that the speakers are, so they're not very good. Other things I'd say, this is supposed to be carbon fiber finish. In about, say, 2-3 weeks of usage, I think you might be able to make it out in the video just here. Seems to be a bit of marks left from sweat. It doesn't, I tried to wipe it off, but it doesn't really come off, but maybe that's just another thing to note as well. In terms of performance, I'd say it's pretty quick. In terms of specs, I have the i7 with the 16 gig RAM and the 512 SSD. So I haven't encountered any issues on this one. Everything loads pretty quick. From a gaming perspective, though, this is, I guess it's not the point of this laptop, and you probably see it with the integrated graphics. It does tend to lag with pretty basic games, I'd say. So if you're planning to use this to game, I'd say stick to some of the older games or games that aren't particularly intensive on the graphics. So there you can actually see the sweat patch that I was talking about earlier. This is, by the way, also a fingerprint sensor. However, I don't use it because you need a Windows account for that. Other things, battery life. I have used this a few times, 100% down to 0, and it's lasted me at least 6 hours, I'd say. So that was a combination of just some word processing, some browsing, as well as some music and video playing. So I'd say it's pretty good on that front. And the other one thing that I like about this laptop as well is the ports. So I just show you on this side. You probably can't see it. There's one USB-C here, headphone jack, as well as a SD slot. And on this side, you've also got, also a bit hard to see, but another 2 USB-C slots. So I think compared to the newer design, which they also sell concurrently with this one actually has more ports. Oh, and actually, this is an interesting thing as well. So if we have the lid closed, unlike the Max, you can't actually open it with one hand. So you can see the base is lifting while I try and lift the top up, which is a bit of a pain. It's kind of a two-handed exercise, or you do what I'm doing now, which is to wobble it until it hits the base. But yeah, that's one of the things. The screen, yeah, this is pretty good. No real complaints. I did have to calibrate it with the Intel, I think they call it the command center, just to get the colors right, or maybe this is a bit of a personal preference there as well. But otherwise that is not too bad. So is the webcam as well. That's mostly it. Actually, interestingly, I'd say between the first one and this machine, what I've noticed differently between the two is that the fan actually turns on a lot more frequently on this unit for whatever reason. And spec-wise, it's supposed to be the same between the two. So I'm kind of surprised why the fan is turning on a lot more often on this one. I wouldn't say it's particularly loud, but it's definitely noticeable. So if you're just running, say, 5 tabs in Chrome, and you do that for a while, you will notice that the fan is already kicking on. So bit of an interesting one. Not really sure why it does that, but haven't really had any overheating issues as such. It doesn't lag or anything like that. So that's all. That's where I'll end this video. If you have any questions or updates you want me to share on this laptop, feel free to leave them in the comments as well, and I'll try and get back to them.